Everyone who touched the gauntlets turned to ash. 12 students, 5 centuries. The most gifted ability users burned alive for a dare. They say the gauntlets were crafted by an original vampire and sealed by a high priestess in the blood of 100 kings. Weapons that never forgot their true master. They were waiting for one of their own, a vampire, a species erased from the world, or so everyone thought. Quinn Talon knew the truth. In an academy built to hunt monsters, he was the last vampire alive. He just wasn't the best one. To supervillains like Rex, he was just a punching bag. Quinn could never fight back and reveal his secrets. Not about his powers, and certainly not about his vampire system.
Health points are 1 out of 100. Drink blood now, or die.
Quinn clenched his fists, humiliated. He could end this in a second, but he didn't fight back.
Pathetic. If you had any dignity, you'd get out of the academy, loser.
One of the other bullies called out.
Finish him off!
Rex stepped up, raising his fist one last time until...
Wait!
Rex turned, surprised that one of his lackeys was telling him to stop. But then he realized everyone had gone silent. Everything had gone silent. Rex's arm was frozen.
What the hell? It's the Ice Queen!
One of the students said. Another one covered their mouth.
She's the strongest in the academy.
The crowd took a step back, and a gorgeous blonde student cut through the crowd, her footsteps echoing. Erin snapped her fingers, and the ice shattered.
Leave him alone.
Rex looked at Erin, then back down at Quinn.
Stay out of it.
Erin raised an eyebrow.
I wasn't asking.
Rex and the others held still for a moment. Then Rex broke out into a grin.
Come on, guys, this loser isn't worth the time anyway.
Quinn stared, gobsmacked. Erin was so strong that this whole group of students were shaking in their boots. She stopped in front of him.
You better get up or you'll be late.
She didn't offer him a hand. Quinn stumbled to his feet.
What's the big deal? It's just weapon training.
Erin shook her head.
It's not weapon training, it's weapon selection. And it's the most important day of your life. Come on.
She started walking, her footsteps echoing in the still, silent courtyard. Quinn didn't follow her. She turned back to him.
Come on.
He jogged to catch up. Quinn came eerily close to revealing his vampiric abilities. Will he be able to keep his secret? And just what is weapon selection? Everyone had talked about weapon selection, but he didn't realize what it was until he entered the ceremony in the armory. Rows of weapons lined the walls, some ancient claymores, some ultra-modern laser rifles.
Whoa, this place is incredible.
Erin nodded.
And now, we get chosen.
Quinn looked at her, confused.
You mean we choose a weapon?
No, we get...
Before she could finish, a voice erupted from the center of the armory.
Students, this is no ordinary day.
The speaker was a 7-foot-tall, broad-shouldered, rugged man in a military attire.
I once stood in your very shoes, and for me, this was the first day of the rest of my life.
The students murmured to one another.
Now that's Master Leo.
No way, Master Leo?
Quinn studied the man, curious why everyone was so interested in him.
He's a legend.
Master Leo clapped his hands.
Now, you may pick up a sword and think it's right for you, but if you don't know it's right for you, then it's wrong. Now, pick your weapon.
Quinn looked at Erin.
We do get to pick.
Erin grinned at him.
You'll see.
What does that mean?
That's all from me. I'm gonna change into my fighting gear now.
Students were swinging blades, putting ammo into rifles, laughing at the power humming in their hands. Quinn surveyed the rows of weaponry, eyes finally landing on a sleek, curved blade.
Let's see if you're the one.
He grabbed the sword, lifting the blade until the blade shattered in his grip. Other students looked over at him, gasping. Quinn took a step back, embarrassed.
Okay, definitely not for me.
Ha! If it breaks, it was never yours to begin with.
Quinn zeroed in on his next target, a spiked flail. He lifted it, and it felt shockingly light in his hands. Maybe this was his weapon, only he realized that the flail was floating toward the ceiling. It was weightless in his hands.
Not that one either.
And then he saw them. A pair of black gauntlets, wicked and jagged like dragon claws. Something deep inside of him stirred. The moment his fingers touched them, the world shifted. A chill ran down his spine. His system flickered to life.
Bloodbound gauntlets acquired. Strength, +5, defense, +2, awakened beast weapon. Compatibility, 100%.
Quinn didn't feel like he was handling some foreign weapon. He felt like he had found another piece of him, a piece that had been waiting for him. This wasn't just a weapon, this was his. As Quinn stared at the gauntlets with awe, Master Leo appeared over his shoulder.
You've got an interesting eye, kid. You think those are for you?
Quinn turned to see Leo's eyes flicking between Quinn and the gauntlets.
Not many people choose gauntlets as their first weapon.
Quinn frowned.
Why not?
Fighting up close requires no fear, no hesitation, but they're tough, relentless really. You have to match them, or they'll tear you apart.
Master Leo's eyes narrowed.
But more than that, these gauntlets in particular are special.
Quinn stiffened. Master Leo leaned in, inspecting the gauntlets at close range.
The former owner wasn't exactly human.
Quinn stared at the gauntlets for a time.
If he wasn't human, what was...
But Master Leo was already gone. Quinn hesitated, then reached out. The moment he touched the gauntlets, something clicked. A pulse ran through him. The gauntlets adjusted, molding to his body. His screen flickered.
Bloodbound gauntlets equipped. Perfect match detected. Plus 12 strength. Plus 12 agility. Plus 10 stamina. Plus 10 defense.
Whoa!
Quinn flexed his fingers. The metal moved with him, light as air but strong as stone. It was a perfect fit, like it had always been meant for him. Across the room, Quinn didn't notice that Master Leo was watching him intently. Does Master Leo suspect Quinn isn't what he seems? Just who was the original owner of the bloodbound gauntlets? Master Leo's gaze lingered. Then he shouted out.
Enough dawdling. Let's put your weapons to the test.
The students turned towards Master Leo as he strode toward the far end of the armory, where a massive iron door rumbled open. Quinn stepped towards the opening doorway, following the crowd outside of the armory. The ceiling was impossibly high, and glowing runes lined the walls. Master Leo turned to the students.
In this test, you'll wield your chosen weapons, but there's one rule here. No abilities. If you deserve your weapon, you need to earn it on your raw talent alone.
A wave of murmurs swept over the students. Quinn's jaw hung open. No abilities meant no one could overpower him with fireballs or telekinetic blasts, but it also meant he had no excuse to not fight back. He searched through the crowd, looking for Erin. Where was she? Had she found a weapon yet? Master Leo grinned.
The way this works is exactly like you'd expect. Duels. Now, are there any volunteers?
Nobody moved until a giant student stepped forward.
A duel sounds fun.
He didn't look like he belonged in the crowd. He was massive, wielding a battle axe. He seemed like he could crush every other student in his hands. A murmur once again swept through the crowd. Absolutely nobody wanted to face him.
What? No takers! Cowards! All of you!
Then Erin stepped forward, sighing. She carried a longsword that looked carved from ice.
This is interesting.
I was hoping for a tougher opponent.
The huge man didn't hesitate. He charged in. When he swung it down, Erin spun her body to the side, avoiding the blow, and at the same time slashed at the back of the man's legs, causing him to stumble. She then placed her blade towards the man's neck, inches away from his throat.
I yield! I yield!
The man said desperately. It all happened so fast, some students didn't even notice it. A girl next to Quinn shook her head.
I knew Erin was strong, but didn't realize she was that strong.
That was excellent. We clearly have some talented students here. But for our next fight, let's see someone a little less experienced have a crack.
The students all shifted uncomfortably. No one wanted to be thrown into the arena after watching Erin dismantle her opponent in seconds. Leo gazed through the crowd, calculating, searching, and then his eyes landed on Quinn.
You.
Quinn froze.
Me?
Yeah, you. The one staring at the floor who looks like he'd rather be anywhere else.
A wave of chuckles rippled through the students.
Maybe someone else should go first. Warm up the crowd a little bit.
Master Leo walked toward him and clapped him on the back.
Nonsense. You just got yourself a brand new set of gauntlets, didn't you? Gauntlets that are very special.
Quinn swallowed. He could feel the weight of the gauntlets on his hands.
And what better way to test them than in front of all your friends?
The crowd laughed again, some with a mocking amusement. Quinn opened his mouth, desperate to get out of this. But then he heard a familiar voice.
Perfect, I'll volunteer to face him.
It wasn't Quinn's bully Rex, but it was the next worst thing. His best friend Loop, a level 3 that picked on Quinn just as relentlessly. The tension in the air thickened. Everyone had gone silent.
Beautiful. A willing volunteer. That makes things easy, doesn't it?
The crowd began to fold around them, leaving Loop and Quinn standing alone in the center. Everyone expected him to lose. His HP was still low, and he was going to have to fight with nothing but his fists. This was going to suck. Is Master Leo testing Quinn? Will Quinn stand a chance against the bully Loop? Quinn took a deep breath, studying Loop, who held a large spear. He looked out at the crowd and made eye contact with Erin. She smiled at him. He could swear he saw her mouth.
This is gonna be good.
Quinn looked at his system.
Opponent power level 3. Bonus experience will be rewarded.
Quinn cursed under his breath, staring at Master Leo, then at Aaron, then at Loop. Master Leo's smile was gone. He was dead serious, staring intently at Quinn. It was creeping him out.
Begin.
Loop charged forward, spear aimed at Quinn's chest. Quinn tensed up, his mind cautioning him, don't be too fast, don't be too strong, don't stand out, don't let them know what you are. He sidestepped a second too late and felt the point of the spear graze his ribs. Pain flared and the crowd gasped. Loop smiled wide.
This is even more fun without powers.
Quinn exhaled sharply. He could dodge all day, but he'd need to fight back or this guy would kill him. But how?
Inspect.
Quinn whispered under his breath. His system screen flickered.
Loop Erickson. Ability. Psychic energy. Health points 5 out of 15. Blood type. O positive.
He dodged another stab from Loop. Then he heard Aaron's voice call out.
Get in close.
She was helping him, and she was right. If he got in close, he'd be able to use the gauntlets. But if he stayed at a distance, he smiled. Quinn ducked his shoulder, moving like he was going to charge in close. But as soon as Loop reacted, he leapt back, dodging Loop's spear thrust and catching the spear. Loop's grin vanished. Loop pulled at the weapon, trying to yank it free, but Quinn held firm. He was stronger than Weapon, even without the gauntlets. He was too strong, too fast. Quinn smiled, but then his eyes landed on Master Leo, watching him intently. Something had changed in the old man, and Quinn felt a cold sweat of nervousness. Quinn needed to finish things. With a single clawed punch, he cracked the spear in half. The crowd gasped again. Loop stumbled backward, stunned.
What the hell? My weapon? It's clearly faulty.
Leo didn't say anything. He continued watching, studying Quinn intently. Quinn leapt forward. Loop had no time to react before Quinn's fist slammed into his gut. Quinn followed up with a knee to the chin. Blood sprayed. Loop slumped to the ground, out cold, but still breathing. Quinn turned and faced the stunned, silent crowd. Master Leo stepped up.
Winner, Quinn Talon.
Quinn has defeated Loop, but did he hold back enough, or has Master Leo already seen through him? Will Rex avenge his defeated friend? Quinn's system chimed in his mind.
Opponent has been defeated. 50 experience points rewarded. First time higher power level bonus. Another 50 experience points rewarded. 220 out of 200 experience points. Congratulations, you are now level 2.
Quinn had leveled up for the first time, and he slowly looked down at his body. Weird. His wounds were healing. Was that because he had leveled up?
Level up override. Health restored to maximum.
Quinn wanted to get out of the limelight and fast. As he walked away, someone shouted out.
That's not fair. Loop obviously was using a faulty weapon.
Murmurs rippled over the crowd. Quinn felt everyone watching him.
Yeah, and what was with that anyway? That idiot decided to still attack him anyway after seeing his weapon break. He should be punished.
Rex stepped forward.
There's no way he won fairly. He's a cheater. He sabotaged Loop's weapon.
Master Leo casually picked up the broken spear.
I can guarantee you that all the weapons in this hall are perfectly maintained. Each is given as much care as the next.
Then how do you explain Loop's weapon breaking? He cheated. He used an ability.
More students murmured. Another student stepped forward.
He's right. No way some random kid with no ability just beat Loop.
He's hiding something.
The voices grew louder. Students stared at Quinn with suspicion. Master Leo shook his head.
Enough. I can guarantee no abilities were used.
Rex took a step toward him.
How can you be so sure?
Before Leo could respond, Aaron stepped forward.
Don't you know who that is? Are you seriously questioning him?
Rex suddenly seemed self-conscious.
That doesn't necessarily mean...
Before Rex could finish his sentence, Leo flicked his wrist. Rex flinched, and a thin red line appeared on his cheek as the broken spear embedded itself in the wall. The crowd had gone silent. Master Leo studied Quinn intently.
I told you, I'd know if the boy used an ability, but...
Master Leo stopped, gaze fixed on Quinn.
There's still something to you, isn't there?
Quinn felt his heartbeat race. Leo didn't say anything more. He didn't have to. Even if Leo didn't know, he at least suspected, and that was bad enough. Rex knelt next to Loop and helped him back to his feet. Loop stared at Quinn, rage bubbling. The crowd once again buzzed to life. Loop's bloodshot eyes stared at Quinn, landing on his ribs, where a wound was supposed to be. He was fully healed. How was that possible? Loop pointed a shaking finger.
Look at him. Look at this freak. He's healed. He's not normal.
Whispers returned, now harsher.
Wait, he's right. He was injured before. How did he heal so fast?
What is that, loser?
Freak!
Quinn bounced on his heels, once again jittery and nervous, but Luke didn't wait. A blast of lightning formed in his palm, crackling with power. He lunged at Quinn.
Die, you freak!
Quinn wasn't prepared. He had no time to react. It was going to hit. His shadow blurred, and in an instant, Master Leo stood between them, holding Loop by the wrist. Loop didn't have time to react before Leo struck. Loop flew backwards, skidding across the arena floor. Everyone was silent as Leo stepped toward him, boots echoing in the dead, quiet hall. He towered over Loop.
You will go directly to the headmaster, you arrogant little cretin.
The words hung in the air, thick with finality. Then he turned to the other students, his smile gone.
Insolence. All of you disgrace this academy with your lack of discipline.
The students shrank under his gaze.
You are disappointments, every last one of you except...
His gaze flickered, first to Aaron and then to Quinn. Leo held his stare, then turned away.
Get out. We will take this up tomorrow.
No one argued. Everyone grabbed their things and ran from the arena. As Quinn left with the rest of the students, he could hear the whispers, could see how people were looking at him. Before today, they thought he was a nobody, but now they weren't so sure. Had he done too much? Had they seen too much? And worst of all, had Leo? Quinn moved quickly through the academy halls, head down, pulse racing. He needed to get away from the students, from any prying eyes. He needed to see what leveling up had earned him. He slipped down a quiet corridor and ducked into an empty classroom. Breathe. His system interface flickered in front of him.
Level up achieved. New abilities unlocked.
Quinn was intrigued. A new ability? But then the door opened.
Impressive performance for someone supposedly powerless.
It was Erin. She stood in the doorway, arms crossed, unreadable expression.
Well, are you going to say anything?
It had all been too much today. Too much suspicion, too many voices. He was exhausted.
I can explain.
Erin tilted her head.
You don't need to.
She stepped closer, her eyes locking onto his.
I'm an original. I was born with my powers. I didn't get them from some ability book.
Erin nodded at him as though she were really seeing him.
I can sense other originals.
Quinn almost laughed, relief flooding over him. She was wrong. She thought he was like her, but he was a vampire, the thing that ability users like originals had spent centuries hunting down and killing. He swallowed hard. He'd need to play this carefully. Erin took another step toward him, voice soft.
You can't tell anyone?
Quinn nodded.
I won't.
Erin hesitated, then lifted a hand, reaching out to touch his, but pulled back at the last second.
You need to be careful, Quinn. Some people despise originals.
Quinn wanted so badly to have someone to confide in, to say, I'm not an original, I'm something worse. But instead, he nodded.
I know.
Be careful, Quinn.
And then, she left Quinn alone in the classroom. She thought she had him figured out. But what would she say if she knew what he really was? How long could he keep up this lie? And worse, what would happen if she realized the truth? Quinn and Erin stepped out of the empty classroom into the hallway. If his real secret was safe, maybe things would remain normal. But as they turned the corner, Quinn realized something was wrong. Rex and Loop stepped into their path. Rex grinned.
Well, well, well. If it isn't our favorite punching bag.
Loop was beaten and swollen. He cracked his knuckles.
You made a mistake, freak.
Quinn clenched his fists. Every instinct screamed at him to use his power to put them in his place. But Erin reached for his arm, calming him down. Rex stepped closer.
You're worthless, Quinn. You had your moment, but you'll always be nothing. So why don't we take down your little girlfriend instead?
Erin tensed next to Quinn.
You won't touch her.
Quinn tried to take a step forward but was frozen in place. Electricity was wrapped around his legs. Loop was channeling a stasis spell. Rex smiled.
It's perfect. We'll make you watch.
Quinn was pinned down.
Erin, get out of here.
Erin took a tentative step back, just before a blast of energy slammed her into the lockers.
Erin!
Loop and Rex both launched spells at her. She threw up a shield of ice, but it was in danger of breaking. Quinn needed to do something, and fast. But breaking out of this hold would require him to reveal his powers.
It's not going to hold much longer,
Rex said, cackling with glee. Erin's shield spell was breaking. Any second now. Loop blasted her with electricity.
Keep going.
Erin shook as the spells rocked off her shield. She squeezed her eyes shut, desperately trying to hang on. But then suddenly the spells stopped. Erin opened her eyes and stared with shock. Quinn was standing in front of her, holding back the energy from both spells. His eyes were red, his hair was wild, and the spells bounced off of him like nothing. He cracked his neck. His system chimed.
Full vampiric powers activated.
His secret had been revealed. The gloves had finally come off. His full power was on display, and not just to Aaron, but to Rex and Loop. Quinn grinned.
Now you've really done it.
Quinn's secret has finally been revealed. Will he use his powers to make his bullies pay? What special powers will he unlock? How will Aaron react to knowing he's a vampire? You won't believe what happens next.
A weak student with no abilities, I was guided by a secret book and developed my vampire system to acquire survival abilities. With the powerful being on the top of the food chain, their atrocities were on the rise. But I've decided to fight them. My name is Quinn Talent, and this is my story.
You gotta write your name below the graffiti, Chiquito. How dare you tell on us? Just because I asked for credits? All I wanted was some extra pudding.
Come on, Chiquito. We recorded and put it up on the network for all to see. You're gonna be famous.
I'm sorry. Please, Steve. Lopez, please. I can't do this. The sergeant will court-martial me. I can't afford to be kicked out. The military is my only hope for survival.
Poor you. I'm touched by your story. Carlos, isn't it? But I'm bored and offended, and if you don't do it, I'm gonna take your arm away and make it right. You get what I mean?
How about selling the arm in the downtown market, Steve?
Not a bad idea, Momo. But I wonder if it'll get us a good price. It's pathetically flimsy.
What was that? Are they up for it again? A few weeks before Brandon's death.
Are you sure you saw Quinn with Layla? Like, again? Why her?
Yes, but I don't think it's anything serious. Quinn would have told us.
He would? Ha! Keep fooling yourself. He rarely spends time with us.
Facts. But I swear he won't forget my birthday party tomorrow. Wanna bet?
Huh. I love a cool challenge. Let's bet on your vintage video game. Winner, keeper.
Shaking hands, huh? What did I miss?
It's just...
Just this. Peter was gonna get his lips tattooed if I didn't shake his hand. My little fanboy.
Is Vorden hiding something? Again? Not his fault. I haven't been their best friend since discovering my vampire-like system. I'm a mess. Just then, an arrow zipped in with a note on it. Library now.
Ah! Ghost attack!
Or a love attack.
Wrong answers. I think it's just Layla.
Told you.
I knew my friends were upset when I left, but I had to. Layla understood me more than I did. It had to be urgent or she wouldn't summon.
I'm sorry, it was a mistake. Please don't hurt me.
It's all right. No need to worry.
Oh, Quinn. Thank you. I'm sorry.
What's wrong with him? He looked terrified. Brushing the incident aside, I made my way to the library when suddenly... Layla! I thought the note said library.
Well, it's by the library. That's what bothers you now? All this grammar?
Someone's angry.
What do you do when you're thirsty? Thirsty for blood, I mean.
You know about the refrigeration unit behind the library. That's where I've hidden the store of blood in the test tubes. Why are you so worried now?
You sneaked out of the back gate last night, didn't you? Where did you go? Did you attack someone?
Relax. I went straight to my room after meeting you. Trust me, I didn't stray. I wouldn't.
Then why do you look so lost?
It's... Carlos.
Carlos? That level 1 Earth boy? What happened to him?
He seemed out of place. Like something was wrong with him.
Quinn, you need to stop worrying about others and focus on yourself. Don't put yourself in any trouble.
I won't, I promise. Thanks to Carlos, I was able to get away. But last night, I fixed my tracker settings and took off to get away from the academy and spend some time alone. God, why is my stomach rumbling again? My teeth hurt like they're breaking out. Ah! It was late. Too late for any sane person to be out. But there they were, a couple lost in their own world. Or so it seemed.
Danger alerts. Suspicious activity detected.
What? Suspicious activity? Is this man up to something? Hey, system, you know what I need.
Night vision activated.
He was going to harm her and push her. I had to act fast. Sir, I seem to have lost my way. Can I use your phone?
Yeah, sure. It's in the car. Damn, boy. You ruined a perfectly romantic moment.
He was trying to play it cool, but I could see the panic in his eyes. Pushing your wife off a bridge doesn't sound like a romantic gesture to me.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
Blood type B negative. Drink his blood to unlock new stats.
The thirst was there, primal urge, but something held me back. And suddenly, the man lunged, a wrench glinting in his hand. Now you took the call, villain. I shouldn't have played the Messiah, but I couldn't just stand and watch someone innocent getting hurt. After meeting Layla, I seriously headed to the classroom. But the day wasn't done being eventful. On my way, I heard 2 military officers chatting, and they had news.
General Duke doesn't care about the attack till it's outside the campus and our students are not involved.
But the perpetrator might be lurking anywhere around.
I know, but he wants us to tighten the security measures and make sure to keep a check on the students. Tell the level 1s to buckle up and strengthen their defense.
They don't stand a chance.
In the General's words, a person who can't defend himself is a weakling. Better dead than alive. It's gonna be a bloodbath.
What did they mean by that? All day long, I was consumed with speculation, but nothing waited for what the night had in its pocket. What's wrong? Why are you guys staring at me like that?
Like what?
Like I've grown 2 heads.
'Cause maybe you have. We found out everything, Quinn. There's no use hiding it anymore.
Have my friends finally discovered my unique system? Would the system compel me to eliminate them to keep my secret? No, everything? That's not true. You think I'm hiding something?
Yes! Your tea is spilled! We know it now, and we've proof!
What proof?
We followed you, and that girl Layla, behind a bush, huh? Why didn't you tell us you were dating?
Layla?
Darn, bud! You got a girlfriend!
Girlfriend? Oh, you're talking about that. Guys, I swear, we're not what you think.
Huh. Your dual life is gonna get to you, bud.
What? Why would you say that? I don't have a dual life. I mean, at least you trust me, right, Peter?
I'll answer that tomorrow, traitor.
Whatever.
He has the audacity to sound pissed. You know what? A night without your warm bed would teach you the value of our room and us. Get out!
I went off campus on one of my mindless strolls. It helped to get away from all the complications, but who was I kidding? What if they've really found out what I am and waiting for me to come out? I don't want to betray them, but can I really trust anyone? Am I good or evil? Lost in thoughts, I didn't realize my feet had taken me to an isolated spot where, away from everyone's eyes, Momo and his buddies had ganged up on Carlos like sharks at the whiff of blood.
How about selling the arm in the downtown market, Steve?
Not a bad idea, but I wonder if it'll get us a good price.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll graffiti my name below.
You see, Chiquito, that wasn't so hard, essay. This video will now go up on the network. Somebody's gonna be famous now.
Now that you don't repeat your masterpiece...
No! You promised not to hurt me. Steve, Lopez, Momo, stop them, please.
A scream pierced the night and I bolted towards it. Carlos lay crumpled, clutching his bleeding hand. I kept my hoodie on and helped him towards the military gates, watching as they rushed him to the infirmary. Gosh, these people are never gonna change. Unless somebody compels them. The next morning, I woke up to the news that Carlos got injured during a training session.
Carlos Flores, report to the office immediately.
What? Why is he being called?
Don't you know? He made graffiti against Sergeant Griff. Someone recorded it and put it all over the network. Poor guy. He's gonna be kicked out now.
You aren't going to do anything to them.
But it's getting dangerous. Carlos may not say anything, but his cuts match that of a level 4 transformability user. I did some digging around to find out who it was.
It's too risky, Quinn. Don't put yourself in danger. We got lucky in the woods last time, but you can't take on level up guys. You need to stop.
I can't. Not when I know students are being attacked mercilessly. These bullies need to be taught a lesson.
Quinn, please. I beg you. There is no coming back from this path.
Okay, Layla. I understand. Don't worry. I won't do anything stupid. Layla was concerned about my safety, but I knew I needed to stand up. Moreover, I needed to replenish my blood bank. Time for action. These people need to know their places. Where did I put my mask? New day, a new beginning. I'll make a new mask. I can't fight level 4s in light. They'll overpower me if they're able to see me. I need to wait for the perfect time to attack.
Night vision activated. Level 4 students detected. Take down to add points.
Dare you keep a pudding away from me, and you won't be able to see another day!
Steve left for his room. I had my system help me mess with his room lights.
Ah! Who are you? You psycho murderer! Get out of here!
Wow, someone recognizes me. Makes things easier. I hate explanations.
Emergency lights. You think you can scare me with this stinky Halloween mask? Wait till my friends get back.
Sadly, I hate waiting too. Come on now, show me your neck.
You're one of them, aren't you? First year, here for revenge? You weakling, attacking someone in the dark! Activate emergency lights!
He was fast, but I was faster. I dodged his attack, and he slammed into the wall.
Ah! Not fast enough, eh?
Steve had taken his claws out again and sliced me. I was pushed down, but I wasn't done. I healed faster than others. He came for me. With every ounce of HP left, I rammed my head into his stomach and lifted him and threw him back. He hit straight on the wall. He was down near the wall, and his claws retracted.
Ow! You're too quick, too strong. You can't be a first year. Who are you?
That's the fun part.
Level 4 student taken down. New stat points added.
Mission complete. I felt satisfied with frightening the bullies enough to be on the right track, and also proud of mastering the skill of sucking just enough blood to replenish my blood bank before the person gave way. Gosh, Peter, happy birthday! I'm so sorry. I'm such a bad friend.
Vorden was right. You're too lost to care about anyone.
It's not like that. I was just
roaming around with your girlfriend?
After an hour-long explanation, Peter forgave me, but Vorden would never. Will I lose the only friends I made here because of the secret I'm hiding? Will things ever get better?
No! You aren't going to do anything stupid. Stay low and let things settle.
But what if he comes for me next? Didn't you see what he did to Steve?
Do what I say, or you'll be in a state worse than Steve.
Steve Wilson and Martin Lopez, you're being reprimanded. Report to the office with your belongings.
Quinn, did you hear? Another student was attacked last night. Lopez got so scared that he confessed and ratted out Steve, too. Poor Carlos. He's finally off the hook now.
Really? Do they know who it is yet?
No, but the rumors are spreading about the Vigilante. Some say he's a rogue ex-military. Some say it's a vampire. Yeah, right. Can you believe it? A vampire who brought justice. Sounds like a joke. But what if it is true?
I knew things were spiraling around, and I needed to be careful. But I had tasted blood, and there wasn't any looking back now. Would the school discover my unique system? I was a weak level 1 student with no abilities who discovered a secret book that guided me to develop the vampire system. Despite the challenges and the monster within, I was determined to protect my loved ones and find my own way as a teen vampire. My name is Quinn Talon, and this is my story.
When the next morning had arrived, the three boys headed down for breakfast as a group as usual. Vorden decided to split from Quinn and Peter and sat on his own on the higher power level tables. But even then, no one seemed to be sitting next to Vorden. "Do me a favor, will you?" Quinn asked. "Keep an eye on Vorden. If anything happens, let me know." "But if something happens, I won't be strong enough to help, and you can't exactly do anything either," Peter replied. "I'm not telling you to get involved. I don't think Vorden is expecting you to help him out either, but just let me know what you see." Finally, after finishing their breakfast, it was time for their combat classes. Quinn had chosen the Beast Weapons class after thinking long and hard. Standing at the back of the hall was a bald-headed man wearing leather armor and had a long katana blade by his side. But the katana blade hilt was jagged and rough, and the back of the blade the same. It looked like it had been forged from an animal that was not of this planet. When Layla had entered and spotted Quinn, she immediately came over to him. "This class is a lot more popular than I thought," Layla said. The room was filled with about 30 students inside. The other classes had around 50, but it was still more than they had expected. "Yeah, I wonder what weapon I should pick," Quinn said, staring at the wall. "Well, I already have mine," Layla said, pointing to her bow on her back. "Attention!" Everyone froze and turned to look at the old man. "My name is Leo, and I will be your teacher for today. Your first task will be to pick your weapon. You must think carefully. Your weapon is your lifeline." The students fanned out and started to look at weapons. Quinn looked at the wall and saw all sorts of things. Axes, short swords, spiked clubs, whips, scythes. There was so much to choose from. He needed something that suited him right now and his ability. Quinn then walked up to one of the random swords on the wall and used his inspect skill. Forge sword, tier basic beast weapon, strength +3, agility -2. The sword is incompatible with the skill Blood Swipe. As soon as Quinn realized that his inspect skill would tell him the stats of each weapon, he started to go around the room looking for the perfect one for him. All the weapons Quinn had inspected so far was at the basic tier level, the lowest level a weapon could be. After searching around the room for a while, Quinn came across a weapon that stood out from the rest. Black Horned Gauntlets, basic tier beast weapon. This weapon is compatible with the skill Blood Swipe. When used with the gauntlets, Blood Swipe will have an increase of 5% in power. The gauntlets were black in color and had little tiny horns going up the forearm. "What a strange choice, young boy," Leo said. "It's not many people's first choice. Do you mind if I try it?" Quinn asked. "Go ahead," Leo said as he left to check up on other students selecting weapons. Basic horn gauntlets equipped, strength 12, agility 12, stamina 11, defense 2. Now when Quinn checked out his status screen, he had a smaller number next to his stats, which would indicate the equipment level. He felt 3 times stronger compared to before he had discovered the system. Once everyone had finished picking out their weapon, Leo called everyone to gather around the center ring. "Now, I won't claim to be any expert in every weapon," said Leo, "but what I am an expert in is fighting with weapons alone. For your first lesson, I want to see what you've got. We will have a sparring match, 2 people at a time." Erin was the first to put her hand up. She held a single silver longsword that shined bright. It wasn't one of the weapons that Quinn had seen on the wall, so he could only assume it had been one she already owned. At first, a lot of the students were hesitant of going up against Erin. "Oh, I also forgot to add, abilities will be banned during today's sparring sessions," Leo added. After saying those words, students had raised their hands like a rocket. They all wanted to get the chance to beat the famous Ice Queen. In the end, a large man was selected from the crowd who wielded a 2-handed axe. "I think you chose the wrong club. Your ice abilities will be useless here," the man said. Erin didn't reply, though, and simply took her stance. The man charged in, wielding his large axe above his head. When he swung it down, Erin spun her body to the side, avoiding the blow, and at the same time slashed at the back of the man's legs, causing him to stumble. She then placed her blade towards the man's neck, inches away from his throat. "I give up," the man said. Everything had happened in an instant, and the room was suddenly silenced. 2 men seemed to appear out of thin air, wearing a black military uniform. They then grabbed the student by both arms and escorted him to the school doctor to get healed up. The group continued to watch a few fights. The next fight that had caught Leo's attention was the fight with Layla. She had trapped her opponent multiple times, but a few arrows in the boy's legs stopped him dead in his tracks before Leo had decided to call the match himself. The next pair, Quinn Talon and Brandon Richardson, to the arena. As Quinn walked up to the stage, he noticed that Brandon held a large spear in hand, which had great reach. The end was sharp, with a single curved blade at the end. Opponent power level 3, bonus EXP will be rewarded. Begin! Leo shouted. Brandon immediately charged in with his spear, while Quinn stood there and took a fighting stance with both of his hands held out in front of him. When Brandon was within striking distance, he thrust his spear forward. It was fast and impressive to the people watching outside. But to Quinn, who had 12 points in agility, it was easy for him to dodge. "What the hell?" Brandon said as he tried pulling the spear back. "Let go!" While holding the spear with one hand, Quinn opened up his other hand and swung out his fist like a claw as hard as he could at the spear. Then, a few moments later, the spear had been sliced in half. "What the? My weapon, it's faulty!" Brandon complained, but Leo did nothing to step in. Quinn rushed forward, and before Brandon could do anything, Quinn punched him hard in the stomach. Brandon's feet lifted off the ground, and it looked like his body was about to fly away. Inspect. Brandon Richardson, ability elemental, HP 5 of 15, blood type O positive. Quinn grabbed him and pulled him back down, and at the same time kneed him in the face, causing Brandon's nose to bleed and his head to be sent backwards. And finally, Brandon collapsed, lying there on the ground. "Winner, Quinn Talon," Leo said. "Opponent has been defeated, 50 EXP rewarded. First time higher power level bonus, 50 EXP rewarded. 220 of 200 EXP. Congratulations, you are now level 3. 20 of 400 EXP. 1 attribute point awarded. New skill, Blood Bank, unlocked." With the messages, there was also a new skill that had been unlocked. Before Quinn could leave the arena, a couple of boys shouted from the crowd. "That's not fair," a boy said. "Brandon obviously was using a faulty weapon." "Settle down, everyone. I can guarantee that no abilities were used," Leo said. However, what Leo didn't reveal was that from the very beginning, when Quinn had stepped into the room, he could see his aura was slightly different from everyone else's. As Quinn was heading back to his dorm room, he decided to first put his stat point into something. HP 20 of 20, Strength 6, Agility 6, Stamina 6. All stats are currently halved due to being hit by the direct sunlight. Quinn decided to stick with his plan and add the stat point to Agility. As long as he could hit his opponents without being hit back, he couldn't see himself losing, and worst case, if he couldn't hurt his opponent, he could always run away. Agility 13. The next thing Quinn wanted to check out was the new skill he had obtained from leveling up. Skill, Blood Bank level 1. The skill Blood Bank will allow you to store up to 100 liters of blood in your reserve. The Blood Bank will automatically be used to heal the user if HP drops below 5. Quinn then took out the test tube of Layla's blood and used his Inspect skill. Skill Blood Bank. Blood Bank 10 of 100. Your hunger grows. Daily quest complete, 5 EXP has been rewarded. 25 of 400 EXP. Your hunger grows. Your HP will now drop by -1 HP every hour until human blood has been consumed. Skill Blood Bank. 10 milliliters of blood will be consumed. Would you like to proceed? Yes. After selecting the yes option, a sweet fragrance entered his mouth. The hole he could feel in his stomach had disappeared, and once again he was satisfied and back to normal. For the next week, combat class was a normal requirement for students. Today's lessons will be sparring once again, but this time you will pick your own opponents. "Don't worry, Quinn, I'll let you in the first one," she said with a wink. "I'm sorry about this, young lady, but I'm going to have to ask you to sit out of this one," Leo said. "Show me what you got, boy, and don't hold back." "Look at him, he cheats in my match and now he's getting special treatment," Brandon complained. Before the sparring match started, Quinn decided to use his Inspect skill, but for the first time ever, not a single bit of information had come up. "A strong opponent has appeared. Defeat the opponent for an instant level up reward." "What's wrong?" Leo asked. "Oh, nothing, sorry," Quinn said as he got into a fighting stance. "All right, students, the minute starts now," Leo shouted. "I can't believe I'm actually having fun against a student," Leo said, laughing. Now try this, Leo shouted. The attack from Leo's katana blade came from underneath. Before Quinn knew it, the blade was right underneath his chin. Beep, beep, beep. Oh, looks like our time is up, Leo said. About level 14 or 13 maybe. That's pretty good for a first-year student. Quinn was in admiration for the weapons teacher. Please, would you be able to teach me how to fight? Quinn asked as he bowed down. Unfortunately, the weapon you have chosen I do not specialize in myself. There is one thing I can suggest to you. There's a popular VR fighting game that the military students from all the other schools play. The first thing you will need to do is get experience. Thank you so much, Quinn said as he bowed down again. Oh, and before I forget, it's been a while since I have had fun like that. As a prize, feel free to keep the gauntlets, Leo said as he walked off back to the center of the weapons hall. Do you mind if us two have a round? Brandon asked. Please, I would like to be your next opponent, Faye asked as he drew out his two short swords. I don't see why not, Quinn said. And please, begin, Leo shouted. Meanwhile, in Layla and Brandon's match, Brandon didn't seem to be doing much at all. 10 of 20 HP. You bastard, Quinn groaned. So you want to play games then? Quinn said. Then let's play some games. Enough! Stop now! Leo said as he pointed his blade towards Quinn. 2 wrongs do not make a right. Take him to the doctor's office and make sure he gets treated, Leo said. After checking the men had disappeared, Quinn had decided to head to the bathroom rather than to the doctor's office, was because he could already feel his body was healing up. 12 of 20 HP. Your hunger grows. Your hunger grows. 15 of 20 HP. You will no longer heal. Your HP will continue to decrease by -1 HP until human blood has been consumed. Why did I get kicked out as well? You were the only one who used an ability, Faye complained. Hey, you were fine with the plan when I told you about it earlier. Why are you getting so annoyed about it now? Brandon said. You were the one who dragged me into it all because you lost to a level 1. Embarrassing, Faye chuckled. Do I need to remind you that I'm a higher level than you, Faye? Or do we have to fight so you can learn your place? What the... Is that Quinn's clothes? Peter said as he lifted them off the ground. They're covered in blood. Did he get hurt during training? What happened to him? Vorden thought. Did the second years target him too, or did something happen in training? I told you we should have kept an eye on him. We should have killed those second years when we had the chance. Oh, is Quinn here? Layla said. Tell me what happened to Quinn now. What the hell's wrong with you? Layla managed to groan out. Hey, Vorden, I think you're hurting her, Peter said quietly. The little one didn't like you, and the other one told me not to get involved, but in the end, I'm always the one that has to deal with things, Vorden said. Hey, seriously, Vorden, you're going too far, Peter shouted. Shut up, Vorden shouted as he turned to look at Peter. My name is not Vorden either. Ah! Vorden cried as he flinched and let go of Layla. Don't you dare move, you psycho, said Layla. I swear if you do, I will not hesitate to shove this arrow right in your head. I don't even know why Quinn asked me to look out for you. If he asked me, he's better off without someone like you. Wait, Quinn really said that? Vorden said in a gentle tone. Look, I'm sorry about what just happened, but I just want to know what happened to Quinn. As Vorden said these words, his eyebrows were slightly twitching. His personality had taken a complete 180 turn, and Layla didn't know what to make of it. Hey, are you alright, man? You kinda acting a little strange there, Peter asked. Yeah, I'm fine, Vorden said. Well, I don't like her. I agree, we should get rid of her. Vorden, are you okay? Peter asked again. You've been standing there looking at the floor for a while now. What the... Faye was too slow to react, and all he could do was lift his hand, but the blow was extremely powerful. When the red lines touched his skin, it immediately caused blood to be drawn. 11 of 20 HP, 20 of 20 HP, blood bank has been filled 100 milliliters, A positive blood type has been consumed, +1 strength stat, 50 EXP has been awarded. You monster, get off of him, Loop shouted. Looks like he's not here, Momo said, looking around the room. Well, since you're the only one here, why don't you come with us? Momo said. We have some plans, and we think you might be the perfect person to help us. The bone spikes had managed to pierce Quinn's body in several different places, but luckily, he was able to avoid a blow to the head, and his hands were protected by the gauntlets. 10 of 20 HP. Let's see what you're hiding under that mask, Loop said as he stabbed one of the bone swords into Quinn's foot and then lifted another one at his face. Loop was a good fighter. Quinn's sloppy skills weren't going to save him. 5 of 20 HP, blood bank auto use. 10 of 20 HP, 90 millimeters left in blood bank. 20 of 20 HP, 70 millimeters left in blood bank. 14 of 20 HP. He had thrown a total of 6 blood swipes in rapid succession. 8 of 20 HP. After defending against the first 6 attacks, Loop thought he was done, but another 6 blood swipes came straight after, and his bone swords could no longer take it, and eventually snapped. Opponent has been defeated. 50 EXP has been received. 130 of 400. Loop savvy. Ability bone manipulation. HP 1 of 25. Blood type O negative. Although Loop was bleeding and Quinn was able to just drink from the open wound. I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing that I'm finding it easier every time I do this. 20 of 20 HP restored. O blood type has been consumed. 1 free stat point has been added. Blood bank has been filled. Strength 13, 3. Stamina 12. Agility 13. Agility 14. Although Quinn wore his mask, there was still the chance of someone figuring out it was him. There you are, Layla said. She then looked down and noticed the 2 bodies on the floor. Quick, we have to get out of here. The guards will be here any second now. Oh no, we can't go this way. Layla then started to look around the roof. I have a plan. Grab me and let's jump. Are you crazy? Quinn said. Even with my strength from this height, I would at least break my legs, and even if I can heal, I still feel pain. Just trust me, come on, I can use my ability. Hey, that was pretty cool. You can fly? Quinn asked, stunned. No, my ability isn't that strong yet, Layla replied. At most, I can only slow us down. Come on, let's head back to our rooms. How can the school just let these sorts of things happen? Surely there's a better way, Haley thought. As she went to check up on Faye, she noticed he was now sleeping calmly. However, when she looked at Loop, something had caught her eye that concerned her. In a certain spot on the boy's neck, there were 2 small puncture wounds similar to that of a snake bite. Haley then tapped her watch and waited a few moments for it to connect. Hey, General, I believe there might be a stray beast roaming around the school. What? That's impossible. We have seen no signs indicating the presence of one, the voice on the watch replied. But there have been some strange signs on 2 students. I'm a little bit worried, Haley said. Please, for me, would just investigate it? Fine, whatever you want. How can I say no to my daughter? Just then, though, as Haley got off her call, Hurry, this student is in critical condition, the guard shouted. They quickly placed the student on the bed, and Haley quickly got to work. She tried and tried to use her abilities, but it was useless. The student was already too far gone. He had died. Haley then tapped her wristwatch once again to open up a digital report log. Report, confirming the time of death 9:30 p.m., a first-year student named Brandon Richardson. Daily quest complete. Avoid direct sunlight for 8 hours. 135 of 400 EXP. I heard you got in an accident. Is everything okay? Borden asked. As you can see, I've made a complete recovery. You don't need to worry about me. Hey, seriously though, Quinn, if you're getting bullied or hurt, just tell me. Is everything okay, Peter? Quinn asked. Huh? Yeah, I'm fine. Hey, is it okay to talk to you in private? Loop asked. I'm sorry about yesterday, Loop said as he bowed. I promise I won't tell anyone about your secret. Please, whatever you do, just let me live. I just don't want what happened to Brandon happening to me. Brandon? Quinn said, confused. What happened to Brandon? Look, I just want to continue living in school as normal. I just don't want to get involved, and I'll stay out of your way. You don't have to worry, said Quinn. As long as you stay out of my way, I will stay out of yours. After Loop had left, there was a thought lingering on Quinn's mind. Just who did kill Brandon? Was there anyone in the school who had a grudge against him? Hey, so where's Peter? Didn't you two come here together? You're looking in the wrong places, Borden said as he pointed in a different section of the canteen. What is he doing over there? Are they targeting him? Quinn asked. Who knows? When Peter entered the canteen, he looked at me and said, I'm going to hang out with some new friends I made the other day. Well, maybe we should just keep an eye on them for now. It doesn't look like he's in trouble, and we can always ask him about it later. I hope you two don't mind, but I've come to join you, Layla said as she sat down. What are you talking about? Sorry, my name's Borden. I don't believe we have met, Borden said, pulling out his hand for a shake. You are crazy if you think I'm just going to shake your hand and that you're just going to pretend nothing happened, are you? Layla then turned to Quinn. Quinn, Can you not see this guy is crazy yet? Don't call me crazy, Vorden said slowly, saying each word. Hey, I think you both need to calm down, said Quinn. This crazy boy attacked me when I went to your room last night. Look, I said, don't call me crazy. And again, just like last time, Vorden slowly said each word, one by one. Vorden, is what Layla said true? Did you attack her? Quinn asked in a soft voice, hoping to defuse the situation. I'm sorry about attacking you. When I saw Quinn's blood, I thought that maybe the attacker had come back to get revenge. I thought you might have come in to attack me and Peter as well, Vorden explained. How can we even believe you? Layla said, still annoyed by the whole thing. It was clear to her that Vorden was unstable. I'll just leave you be for now, Vorden said. I'm sorry about what happened. Why did you get in my way? We could have taught that girl a lesson. What did I tell you? It's because of you we're in this mess in the first place. You attacked her. It's our fault to begin with. Fine, but you understand that if you keep suppressing us, the little one's anger will only build up. The more he thinks Quinn is trying to get away, the angrier he will be. And then when he takes over, there's nothing me and you can do. I won't let it get to that point. Now, for today's lesson, it will be individual practice. You have fought for the last couple of days with your weapon. With that, everyone went into a separate space with their weapon. I wish there was someone who could teach me how to use these things, Quinn said as he sighed. Request of combat lesson activated. A suitable weapon is currently in use. Hand-to-hand combat level 1 will now be shown. In the video stood a single, tall, long-haired blonde man in a large empty room. On his both of hands, he wore 2 gauntlets similar to Quinn's, but looked a lot more powerful, and his beauty was unmatched. Hello and welcome to hand-to-hand combat classes for beginners, the blonde man said in a cheery voice. To whomever this video happens to be shown to, I will now demonstrate a set of skills that you should be able to perform at your level. Our kind and/or abilities work best when we use a weapon that covers our hands. The first move is a defensive move. I call it Flash Step. To perform this, if the system has been set up correctly, you will need at least 15 points of agility. The next skill I will show you is the Hammer Strike. Cool, right? The man said, smiling. For this skill, you will need at least 15 strength as well. That is all for today. When you are ready, the next set of hand-to-hand combat classes will be unlocked for you. Quinn, I'm afraid I have some bad news, Leo said. I'm afraid you will have to follow these men. They have a few questions they would like to ask you. Don't worry, I will be coming too. Now, before we begin, I would like to inform you of a few things, the sergeant said. A student by the name of Brandon Richardson has passed away recently. Now, your teacher here has informed me that he and another student named Fei Lan had attacked you during combat classes yesterday. Now, not only has one of the students passed away, but Fei was also admitted to the hospital late last night. We currently have no leads to what happened to Brandon, so that eventually led us to you. Although it's hard to believe someone with no ability like you could do something like this, there is always a way. The woman sitting opposite you here has the ability to detect whether someone is telling the truth or not. Now, please proceed with her demands. It's okay, the lady said. I just need you to place your hand over mine. An ability has been detected. Unable to block the user's ability. Now tell me, did you kill Brandon Richardson last night? She asked. No, I did not. He's telling the truth. Quinn explained to Layla what had happened after the integration. Hey Quinn, you might not like what I'm about to say, but do you think maybe Vorden did it? What makes you say that? Did something happen between Vorden and Brandon? No, I mean, is it not strange that Vorden approached you in the first place? He's a level 5 user, while you're just a level 1. And when he attacked me the other day, he kept shouting about you. And trust me, the guy seems crazy enough to do something like that. Welcome, every single one of you, Momo said. Today we have a special event. A special message to all you first years. You see, there has been someone going around trying to go against us, thinking he can break the previous system that has been around for years in this school. I am here to tell you that this is what happens to those who do not obey. This here is a metal ball that has been embedded with the power of a beast crystal, said Momo. When the Earth had found a way to mix the beast crystal with our own weapons, it was a turning point in the war. But what they don't teach you as first years is that beast weapons need to be activated with your ability. Once activated, they can give out extra power. The higher the beast crystal used to make the weapon, the higher the power. So us second years have decided to give you from the beast weapons class and some of you other first year students a shortcut. Today, we will show you how to activate a beast weapon using these balls. That's when a first year student raised his hand to ask a question. Excuse me, but does any of the teachers know about this? Are there any more questions? Momo asked. Now, usually your weapons wouldn't change color when activated, but as I said earlier, these balls are you just for the sake of helping you learn how to activate your weapons. Once the color is changed, that means it has been activated and its strength has increased. Now today, we will be practicing target hitting. The board here is special, you see. Even a bullet wouldn't be able to penetrate through it. Only the power of a beast weapon can. So today's lesson is to throw the ball and hit the target. Simple, right? Oh, I almost forgot. The crazy boy here has been targeting us second years one by one, thinking we wouldn't notice. Those bastards. How could they do something like that? Quinn, go call Leo. If it's him, he might stop this mess. But as Layla turned around to look at where Quinn was, he was nowhere to be seen. Pick me. I don't mind having a little try, Quinn said with a smile, standing at the front of the students. As Quinn volunteered himself next, Momo couldn't help but think he was up to something. He knew the two of them were friends, so why would he volunteer? As Quinn held the ball in his hand, a message had appeared. Basic tier beast weapon, round ball. Would you like to activate? Strength of weapon will increase by 5%. Activate? How is that possible? He was able to activate the basic tier weapon fully, Momo thought. Why do we have these powers? Quinn said out loud. Isn't it to protect ourselves? To fight those who harm our friends and family? Quinn, no, don't. What are you doing? Vorden mumbled, but was unheard. I have taken a beating my whole life, and I was weak back then. What do I care if I take another beating now? Quinn then chucked the ball using all his strength as hard as he could. Instead of the ball hitting Vorden, though, like everyone suspected, it landed straight in the student's stomach, standing by the side of the board. The power was so strong that the student was lifted off his feet and knocked out in one blow. 50 EXP gained, 175 of 400 EXP. What the hell are you guys doing standing there? Get him! Momo shouted. Once again, he threw out another 2 black balls, aiming for them at full strength. One of the students managed to avoid the black ball, but the other wasn't so lucky, getting hit and knocked out. 50 EXP gained, 225 of 400 EXP. This was Quinn's plan. So far, every level up, Quinn was able to obtain an ability. He didn't know what he would get, but he sure hoped it would help him win the fight. What are you guys doing? To anyone who manages to hit or capture that guy, they will be free from any form of punishment, Momo said. Why should we listen to you? Layla said. Just a second ago, you dealt with one of us for asking a question. Who knows whether we can trust you or not? Fine, you don't want to help? Attack them all! Just then, the 2 level 4 students who were chasing after Quinn no longer cared about injuring the first years. But before it could even reach any of the students, an ice ball was shot out and froze the water attack in place, causing it to fall to the ground. I wasn't going to get involved, but you guys attacked me first, Aaron said. Ha! Even if you're a level higher than us, do you really think you can take on 2 level 4s? She won't be alone, Layla said. With Layla and Aaron distracting the other high levels in the room, Quinn felt like this was his chance to deal with the rest of the level 2s. Out from the side, a long, thin object came lashing out at him. It was too fast for Quinn to react, causing him to be hit across his body. Not only did the attack pierce his chest, but it also sent him tumbling to the ground. 13 of 20 HP. You have caused so much trouble, Momo said. I don't know how you can activate the beast weapon so well, and your surprise attacks seem to work, but you will always be a weak level 1. Vorden, watching the whole thing from the board, felt useless. I have to help him. He's only getting hurt because of me. This is all my fault, Vorden said. If you want to help him, then let me take over, a voice said in Vorden's head. Meanwhile, at the center of the assembly hall, Aaron and Layla were busy confronting the 2 level 4 students. Hey, do you mind if we switch? One of the second-year students said. My water abilities are weak against her. I see you want a level 2 user, huh? The other student replied. Oh well, just finish her off quickly. With that, the 2 second-years charged in for the attack. The water ability user went after Layla, while the earth user went after Aaron. As the earth user got closer, he stomped the ground, and a spiked earth mound followed, heading right for Aaron. However, he didn't have much time to think. With her other hand, Aaron had formed an ice spear and threw it towards her opponent. Suddenly, he felt his legs start to feel cold. When he looked down, he noticed they were starting to freeze. For a second-year level 4 Earth user, you are incredibly weak. Before the boy could react, Aaron had whacked him in the back of the head with the hilt of her sword. How did she win so easily? The first-year students watching said. Although Aaron had finished her match quickly, the same couldn't be said for Layla. The second-year student threw out his fist, and a ball of water came out towards her. It hit her dead in the stomach and sent her flying back towards the front of the hall near Vorden. "Hey you, free me, I can deal with him." "What?" Layla said as she looked up, noticing that it was Vorden who was speaking to her. "Come on, hurry, we don't have much time. Touch my leg." She crawled over to Vorden's side and touched his leg as he had asked. Then the shackles tied around Vorden's arms and legs started shaking. Vorden was using Layla's telekinesis ability, but it was weak. It wasn't strong enough to break from the shackles. Layla then lifted her hand, and with the two of them working together, the shackles were finally removed and Vorden was free. "Finally, I get to come out. It's been a long time." These were just as sharp as an attack from a regular blade, but could be thrown out. As the blades came towards him, at the last second Vorden managed to twist his body in an odd way, avoiding both of the blades. He then lifted one of the black balls from the ground, using his telekinesis, and threw it out. However, the attack was easy for the water user to block, forming a water wall stopping the ball, but then, crack! Something was felt on the back of his leg, and at the same time a crunching sound was heard. The boy immediately fell to one knee. As he looked at Vorden in front of him, he could only see Vorden with his hands held out. Then another striking pain was felt through his body, this time on his other ankle. Without realizing it, Vorden had attacked him from behind, pulling the other black balls towards him. The water user was too focused on the attack in front. He never thought about an attack from behind. Also, it had come as a surprise to him that Vorden was not an Earth user as he thought. Finally, I, Rayton, have returned. The second-year students had Quinn completely surrounded. As he took a step forward to try to break out of the encirclement, a wind strike came towards him. He quickly went behind the student, grabbing his arm, and at the same time kept one of his claws towards the student's neck, using him as a meat shield. "Me and you both know you're not going to hurt him, Quinn," Momo said. "If you attack too deep and kill him, you'll be in trouble. Attack too shallow, and we will pounce on you and make you wish you were dead." Quinn hated to admit it, but Momo was right. The attacks came out fast and furious from the others. Quinn was able to block most of them. Now his back was up against the wall. The situation he was in was similar to the agility test, where holographic spikes came at him. However, these attacks were more powerful and were greater in number. Eventually, Quinn let a strike get in. 6 of 20 HP. Suddenly, the attacks had stopped, and Momo had stood forward with his whip in his hand. Seeing the whip, Quinn remembered that a single attack last time had brought his HP down by 7 points. If he was to receive another attack from it right now, he would be brought down to below 0. The problem was, Quinn had already displayed abnormal strength. If he then displayed abnormal healing, things wouldn't add up. A student couldn't have two abilities apart from rare cases, which meant it would only lead to Quinn being asked more questions. Just as Quinn was deciding what to do, Momo sensed something and moved his head at the last second. As he did, a black ball came flying through the air and went past his head. Then the black ball stopped mid-air and suddenly started moving back towards Momo. Momo lashed his whip at the ball, slicing it in half. As he turned around, he saw Vorden standing there. When he looked to see what had happened to the rest of the second years, he could see a few had already been taken down, and those who hadn't been were busy engaging in combat with Layla and Aaron. "So you got free, huh?" Momo said. "Do you not remember what happened to you the last time the two of us fought?" Momo taunted. "Last time you fought against that weakling, this time you're fighting me," Rayton said. "I'm not as nice as Vorden." Rayton lifted both hands, and with it, 2 more black balls off the ground lifted up. Vorden swung his hands in the air, and the black balls followed the same path. "Looks like you don't remember what happened last time." Momo clenched his fist tightly, destroying the black ball held in his hands. He then swung his whip, destroying the other without even looking where it was. Quinn wanted to help. While Momo's back was turned, he tried to go in for a strike, but before he even took a step, the whip came flying out and landed just in front of him. "Don't even think about it," Momo said. Before Quinn had taken a single step, Momo had already acted. It can't be, Quinn thought. He either had some type of mind-reading ability or future-seeing ability. Quinn's guess about Momo was nearly spot on. Momo could see 2 seconds ahead into the future, although it wasn't as clear as others might think. His ability was activated through his eyes. Quinn wasn't the only one who had figured out Momo's ability. Rayton had as well. "Who cares if you know what I'm going to do?" Rayton shouted. "All I need to do is do something you can't block." Rayton then started running towards him. Momo could see the black balls coming at him, and he knew he could do nothing but take a hit. He opted to avoid the water strikes, the more powerful of the attacks, and moved so the balls would hit his back. After being hit with the black balls, Momo moved away from Vorden, creating distance between the two. "I have to admit, I didn't expect you to be able to use 2 abilities. You didn't do something like this last time. It looks like you were hiding a trump card after all," Momo said. "But you weren't the only one holding back last time." While in his right hand he held a whip, something started to form in his left hand. At first, it looked just like a bunch of light particles forming something, but then eventually another whip appeared. Only this felt and looked different, as if it was alive almost. Just from holding it alone, the whip would continuously move like a snake. "Let me show you the difference between the second years and first years," Momo said. Even though Erin was currently busy fighting the other second-year students, she couldn't help but sense the power in the room. "So he has one after all, huh? A soul weapon." While the distance between Momo and the others were far away, Layla had managed to make a break and get away from the other second-year students. She quickly went to Quinn's side and could see he was badly injured. "Do you need some blood?" Layla whispered. "No, I'm fine. I'm not in any danger. Don't worry about that. I just don't want to reveal anything in front of all these people." "I understand," Layla said as she then looked at Vorden. "Your friend. I hate to admit it, but he's strong." "Yeah." After looking at Vorden now and seeing how he fought so skillfully, as if he had done it 100 times before, and he was even using 2 abilities effortlessly, Quinn quickly realized there wasn't much he knew about Vorden, and that he probably had his very own secrets that he was hiding from everyone, similar to himself. Now with Momo's soul weapon, the confidence in him grew. He swung his soul whip and it started to move at lightning speed. In response, Rayton created a wall of water with one hand and started to slow down the whip with the other, but the telekinesis ability was useless and didn't seem to do anything to slow the whip down. Then, when the whip had reached the wall of water, it suddenly grew in length and had wrapped around Rutten's arm. Momo pulled forward, dragging Rayton to the ground, and then swung out his other whip, lashing against his back. "Damn you!" Rayton shouted. "If only this body wasn't so hurt from before. Now you have gone and done it. You think a soul weapon is strong enough to defeat us? Well, think again. Little one, it's your turn. It's time to give this man hell." Just then, though, the doors to the assembly hall were swung wide open, and in came a tall, silver-haired female, and standing behind her was Peter. "I command everyone to halt this instant," she said. "If anyone does not obey this command, prepare to be punished." The female's name was Faye Dallum. She was a sergeant at the academy and was mostly in charge of squad training. "Those of you who are injured go to the doctor's office to be treated immediately, while the rest of you head to the dorms and stay inside until you are called out again. Do you understand?" Faye said. After successfully attaching Vorden's arm back to his body, Haley, the school doctor, had gone up to check on Quinn. "What is this? For this much blood, the wound should be a lot bigger." Quinn started to laugh nervously. "Yeah, my friend has a healing ability and managed to heal me a bit before I got here." "Oh, another healer," Haley said, surprised. "Well, if you get the chance, send them down here. Their ability is quite good, and it looks like they have done a splendid job. I could do it with help, and I would love to have a student of my own." "Sure," Quinn replied. Meanwhile, inside one of the integration rooms, a large muscular man with forearms the size of thighs was sitting opposite the second-year student Momo, and on his shoulder the man had the rank of general. His name was Duke King, and he was head of the second-year students. "Of all the people it had to be Faye to stop us," Momo complained. "I did as you asked, and now I might pay for it." "Will you relax? Nothing will come of this, I promise you that," Duke replied. "You're only students, and these types of things happen, and I'll vouch for you." "Really? So this won't all fall back on me then?" Momo asked. "Of course, as long as no one finds out about our little secret," Duke said with a smile. The next day had arrived, and it was a weekend for the students. Just like any other school, students did not have to attend classes and were free to do as they wished around the city. Although the curfew still existed, they had to be back in their dorm rooms before 10 in the evening, and they were not allowed to leave the city. However, for the leaders at the school, their day was not as relaxing as the students, for a meeting had been called. Inside the academy on the top floor, the leaders of the academy had gathered in a fairly large meeting hall. Faye was the first to stand and speak. "We are here today to conduct the meeting on what to do with the second-year students who were involved in the case involving primarily the first-year student known as Vorden Blade and the students who are part of Dell's class and Leo's beast weapons class." Faye then pressed a little button on a controller she held in her hand. In front of the generals and the other sergeants, a holographic report was being displayed to them. "I believe you have all read the reports, but this is here just for your reference. I would like to ask your opinion on how these students should be punished, General Duke." "Punished?" Duke said. "I see no reason for these students to be punished. If you look at the report, it seems like Vorden was the first to attack the others. They were simply retaliating. These types of things happen all the time." "I urge the rest of the sergeant to take extra precaution," said Faye. "It was only recently that we had the death of a student in our school. Unlike Brandon, Vorden is an original. If his family was to get involved in it, would not be good for the academy." "How is the preparation for the portal outing coming along for the first-year students?" Leo asked. "Yes, everything has been all set up," Nathan said. "A green portal has been selected for the students to go through, and the base has made preparations for their arrival. It should all go smoothly next week." "Do you know what planet the expedition will take place on?" Leo asked. "Then I will be able to better prepare my students." "It's best to ask your students to pack some sun cream and their sunglasses, as they will be arriving on the planet Kaladi," Nathan replied. Planet Kaladi, a planet that was mostly covered in desert and contained low-tier beasts. Kaladi contained a 72-hour cycle. It was brilliant for those that loved the sunlight and heat. The three of them then proceeded to head into town. They went ahead and grabbed some food, watched a movie, and had a good laugh, but as they were outside, Peter spotted a group of high-level first-years he had met before. As Peter had made eye contact with the group, they had signaled to him they wanted to talk. "Hey guys, I just remembered that I promised to meet up with a few people from school tonight," said Peter. "It was great hanging out with you guys, but I'll see you when you get back to the dorm." Vorden looked at Quinn, realizing that they both thought Peter's words sounded suspicious. No matter what, Peter didn't want an incident like last time to happen. He would deal with the problems himself. "Took you long enough." The student standing in front of the group had a scar on his chin, and his name was Earl. "What the hell do you think you were doing calling the teacher the other day?" Earl said. "Now Momo and the others are giving us a hard time for relying on you. Now, we have another job for you, Peter, and you better do it right this time, you understand? Just nod if you agree." Peter then shook his head. He had already decided that no matter what, he would never betray Vorden or Quinn again. "What, are you saying no? Do your thing, Jerry." Then Jerry placed his hand on top of Peter's, and slowly a warm feeling was felt, and the bones in Peter's fingers were starting to take shape. They reformed to what they once were, and he had been healed. Then a big smile on Earl's face could be seen. He grabbed Peter's fingers again and repeated the process again and again. Eventually, after an hour had passed of breaking, hurting and rehealing Peter's mind had given in. Without him realizing it, he no longer wanted to feel the pain and nodded, agreeing to their request. "Good," Earl said. "Now this time, you better do it right and be sure not to involve anyone." While the two were walking, Quinn couldn't help but think back to the fight between Vorden and Momo. "Hey, Vorden, I know you said your ability resets every day, but you never said you could wield two abilities at once," Quinn asked. "Didn't I?" Vorden said with an awkward smile. "Well, there are some in my family that can even hold three." "Really? So how does it exactly work?" "Well, if I told you our family secrets, Quinn, you would have to become a part of our family. Either that or I'd have to kill you." For a second, there was an awkward silence between the two, as Quinn wasn't sure if Vorden was joking or not. "Relax, will you?" Vorden said. "But yeah, I honestly can't tell you anything. You know Originals rules and all." Vorden belonged to one of the original families, meaning the only people that knew how to copy other abilities were the Blades. "Yeah, sorry about that, but if you don't mind me asking, if you copy an ability you've never received before, how are you able to fight with them so well?" Let me show you something, Vorden said. The two of them continued to walk down the high street, which was filled with shops, until Vorden eventually stopped just outside a game store. The two of them headed inside, and there were all types of games filled on the shelves. Then Vorden pointed at the VR capsule. You see that thing? I grew up playing on that. What? Quinn thought. There's a popular game played in the outside world and within the military schools called Power Fighter. The game itself is used to help people train. The VR capsule can record all attributes of your body. Anything you do in the real world, you can do in the game. The only thing that it can't do is record your ability. Vorden then walked up to the capsule and touched the front of the capsule. Welcome, user ID VB copy, the machine said. As Vorden logged into the game, an ability tab. The list seemed almost endless. Wait, I thought you said the game couldn't record your ability, Quinn asked. It can't, but it uploads into its database every ability that is shared out there in the world that we know today. Of course, only the ones that are made public. So original abilities and abilities that have yet to be discovered aren't on this list. I can select any ability I want. Even if I can't perform it in the real world, I can practice with it in the game. Quinn finally understood how Vorden was able to become well adverse with multiple different abilities. The game is actually very popular with the other military schools, Vorden continued to explain. So much so that the military has designed its own servers. Before you enter the game, you can even input your power level. This way it will match you with those people around the same level. Quinn then walked up to the capsule and started to inspect it. It sounded amazing and was exactly what Quinn needed. This way he was able to practice against other students without others realizing it was him. Then, when Quinn lifted up the tag on it, there were more zeros on the thing than he had ever seen before. There was no way he could afford such a thing. Vorden started to laugh. Don't worry about it. You don't need to buy one yourself. The Academy has a room full of them. Really? Come on, let's head back and give it a go. The sun was starting to set outside, so it was just the right time for Vorden and Quinn to head back to the Academy, and when they did, they immediately went over to the VR room. The two of them went up to the front counter that was stationed next to the small cafe. Hi, we would like to rent out 2 capsules, please? Vorden asked. A single capsule will cost you 10 credits per hour, the female replied. Hearing that number made Quinn gulp. For some reason, he had expected the capsules to be free, but of course, they would have to pay to rent them. With Quinn's 10 credits he received a day, at most he could play the game for was an hour a day. All right, are you ready? Vorden asked. Huh? What did you pay? Yeah, don't worry about it. Come on, let's go. The woman behind the counter had handed Vorden 2 tags numbered 23 and 24. Here we are, Vorden said. The two of them slowly climbed into the VR capsule. When the machine sensed they were both comfortably inside, the capsule lid slowly started to close in on both of them. Then, before they realized it, their minds were completely transported to another space. Quinn was now in a large, empty white room. Welcome to Power Fighter. What would you like to do? Log in, register, play as guest. As Vorden had suggested for now, Quinn decided to play as a guest. Then he went on through the system and started to search for Vorden's gamer ID. Once he had selected to join the person's room, he patiently waited for Vorden to accept. Room invite accepted. Transporting in 3, 2, 1. Then, in an instant, Quinn had been transported to another empty white space room. Only this time, Vorden was there as well. He looked like a completely different person. Both his hands had been wrapped in bandages, and on his face, he wore a scarf. Vorden, is that you? Oh, sorry, Vorden said, and the next second he looked like the ordinary Vorden at school. What was that? Quinn asked. That, the game allows you to customize your character, so you can make it look like whatever you want. Although they cost credits, so I wouldn't worry about that. The sound of the game was just getting even better for Quinn. Allowing the users to create a character to be used in the game meant that no one would know it was him, unless they knew his username. Do you want to watch me play a few games so you know how the game works? Vorden asked. Sure. When an opponent was found, the two of them started out on the opposite side of the room. Then Quinn could see a big countdown appear over the arena. When the countdown reaches 0, the match immediately began. Vorden was going up against another Earth user. The match had only lasted a total of 5 minutes, but while watching the game, Quinn started to figure out how it worked. After that, Quinn continued to watch Vorden play a few more games, and before they knew it, their time was up. It was getting late, and it was almost time for their curfew, so Quinn and Vorden decided it would be best to head back to the dorm rooms. When they arrived, they noticed that the lights were out, and Peter was already in the room fast asleep. "Does he look okay?" Quinn asked. "Yeah, he seems fine, but even if he was getting bullied, he could have gone to the doctor's office before coming here," Vorden replied. "Well, I still think we should keep an eye on him. There's no way higher levels would just become friends with a lower level for no reason," Quinn said. Vorden cleared his throat loudly and started to look at himself. "Of course, there are some exceptions," Quinn said, smiling. With the other two now fast asleep, Quinn was still awake, messing around with his system. He was busy watching the tutorial videos of the hammer strike. The next day, Quinn had woken up earlier than the other two. He immediately wanted to go to the game to create his character and test out the skill he had been learning all night. Just in case the others wondered where Quinn was, he left a note before leaving. When he finally arrived, the VR room was emptier than it was yesterday. He went up to the pretty lady who stood behind the counter and asked to rent a capsule, only this time for 2 hours. Before entering his capsule, Quinn looked around the room and noticed some students carrying their beast weapons with them. Not all students used one like Vorden, but after watching the games Vorden had played yesterday, he did see a few of his opponents have one, which meant that the game was also able to recognize the power of beast weapons. "Scan complete. The beast weapon may now be used with the capsule." He then hopped in and logged into the game. "Please create a user ID." Quinn thought long and hard. He didn't want anything that could give his real identity away, but at the same time he wanted a name that would express his newfound self. Something like Vampire God just wouldn't work and gave too much information. Finally, he had settled on a name. User ID created, Blood Evolver. The next step was to design his character. The body proportions of his character were the same as him, but he was able to choose what hairstyle and simple clothing he wanted on it. Quinn had always been born with black curly hair and wanted to change it but never got the chance to. After going through all the options, he finally decided on a red spiky-haired character who wore simpler villager clothing. It looked like a farmer from an old fantasy world. Once the character had been completed, Quinn was once again teleported to the large, white, empty room. That's when Quinn noticed something. While in the room, Quinn was able to walk around freely and move his body just like he could outside. He was currently dressed as the character and even had his gauntlets on. Then, when Quinn tried to open up his system, to his surprise, it appeared like usual, showing all of his current stats. Quinn looked down at his gauntlets and immediately wanted to test something out. Blood swipe. And in that instant, a red claw-like line left Quinn's hands and scratched the ground. For whatever reason, it seemed like Quinn's system and abilities still worked inside the game. Just in case, Quinn opened up the game system and checked, and right next to his name, where there was a section to fill in your ability, there were the words written none in the box. But the fact that Quinn was able to use these abilities in the game made him think, was his system really an ability? At first he assumed so. After all, he had received the power from what had looked like an ability book. Of course, he had never heard of an ability like this before, but there were many abilities in the world that originals had hidden and kept for themselves. Then he thought back to his status change. Next to race, it stated he was no longer human. Perhaps his abilities were more a side effect of changing race, rather than an ability itself. That's why the skills that he unlocked through the system didn't really follow a pattern. If Quinn's theory was right, did this mean he could also learn an ability? Before going into his first game, Quinn wanted to test out the hammer strike. He had been watching the video all last night and felt like he was ready. Place your foot forward like this and at the same time rotate your body. The energy should flow through your toes upwards. Then, as you pull back your hand, stomp on the ground and at the same time release the energy through your fist. Quinn mumbled as he went through the steps. He could feel the energy rising from the bottom of his feet into his fist. The powerful strike left his hand, and a loud bang was heard. A small shockwave in the air was created. "I did it," Quinn said. For his first match, Quinn wanted to go against the same power level user as him. She just wanted to make sure of a few things. The game had found him an opponent, and he was immediately teleported to an arena. Quinn got in close to the student and was ready for whatever was to come. That's when the student had shape-shifted his hands into a claw-like shape and scratched at Quinn's body. The attack was slow, and Quinn was able to block but chose not to, and allowed the attack to scratch against his chest. "HP is currently full, unable to use blood bank." It was as he had suspected. Although he took damage in the game, nothing had happened to his real body outside. He dashed forward, and when he was close enough, he threw out a blood swipe. The student lifted his claws to block, but the second the blood swipe made impact, his claws had shattered, and followed up behind the first blood swipe was a second one. Quinn got in closer to the student. By now, the student's claws had already regenerated. The student swung again, but this time, Quinn ducked underneath the attack and threw out a punch to the student's stomach, followed by another punch to the student's face, and finished him off with a cross-shaped dual blood swipe with both hands. Winner, Bloody Volver. Opponent has been defeated. 25 EXP has been earned. 305 of 400 XP. This was a large surprise to him, as Quinn didn't expect a fight in the game to contribute to points in his system, but at the same time, this was great news. But now that Quinn was able to level up, it solved his current problem of getting stronger without the need of consuming blood. Quinn immediately went to search for another game. He set the power level to level 1, that way he would be matched up against easy opponents. An opponent was almost found instantly, and Quinn got straight to work. And his plan worked. His first opponent was dealt with so quickly that Quinn didn't even have time to find out what ability he had. 25 EXP gained, 330 of 400. Quinn's next 3 opponents were dealt with just as easy as the other 2. 405 of 400 EXP. Congratulations, you are now level 4. Race, Halfling. HP, 25 of 25. 5 of 800 EXP. Strength, 13, 3. Stamina, 12. Agility, 14. For the first time since Quinn had leveled up, he hadn't received a new ability. He somehow had expected this, but at the same time was hoping for something useful. Finally, though, what Quinn had wanted had arrived. The reason why he wanted to level up so fast was because of the free stat point received after every level up. Agility 15. He immediately put the point into his agility stat, and now he could finally learn the flash step from the tutorial. After several minutes of Quinn practicing the flash step, he finally had a stroke of success. "Yes!" Quinn shouted. However, what Quinn did notice was while he was in the White Room on his own, his body would never feel tired. It meant the White Room acted like some type of training room, where they were unaffected by their physical body's restraints. With the flash step learnt, Quinn finally wanted to experience a fight with a tougher opponent. In the real world, you wouldn't be able to choose who you went up against, so it was important for Quinn to have experience fighting in all sorts of situations. Then, a few moments later, a match was found. This time, when Quinn entered the arena floor, he could see his opponent standing opposite him. He was wearing a long red cape, and by his side were 2 daggers. Quinn also realized they weren't alone either. "No, don't worry about him," the cape man said. "He's just my senior. He's watching me fight so he can give tips." Quinn then tried using his inspect skill on his opponent to see what power level or ability they had, but there was no luck. But before the match began, Quinn made sure to open up his status screen and decided to leave it open and off to the side. When both of them were ready, the countdown started over their heads. 3, 2, 1, go! The cape man took out his daggers and swung them out fast. 2 wind blades followed. The attack was similar to Quinn's blood swipe, only the distance the attack could be used was far greater and faster. Quinn then decided to attack with his own blood swipe. The 2 lines of power clashed in the middle and cancelled each other out. "A red color? What ability is that?" The cape man was wondering. This time Quinn charged forward. The caped man, seeing this, threw more wind strikes out, but Quinn just replied back with his own blood swipes, but this time sending out 4 of them. When the first 2 cancelled out the wind strikes, the next 2 carried on moving forward. That's when the caped man lifted his cape and spun around. The blood strike smacked into the cape, but there was no effect and not even a scratch left on the cape. "Is that beast armor, and a high-level one at that?" Quinn thought. The caped man swung his daggers out fast. Quinn lifted his hands and managed to grab onto the daggers, allowing the blade to just come out from his fingertips. Then suddenly, the aura around the daggers grew, and the wind forming around dagger allowed the ends of the blade to grow and act more like a sword, piercing Quinn in both shoulders. The capped man pulled back and went for another strike. "I don't know what your ability is, but it's over," the capped man said. But then suddenly, his dagger had hit nothing but empty air and space, and no one could be seen. As he turned around, a sharp claw penetrated the man's stomach. Then another attack after attack at great speed was tearing his stomach apart, and to finish him off, 2 more blood swipes. 25 experience gained, 30 of 800 experience. The man watching in the arena stood up on his feet as he saw his friend lose the match. The two of them so far had been on a winning streak, taking it in turns facing opponent after opponent. The sudden loss had come as a shock to them. That skill at the end, what was that? Then, just as Quinn was about to log out and go find another match, he heard someone call out to him. "Wait!" the man in the seat shouted. "Please fight me!" Quinn had no problem with this and accepted, but unknown to him, the man he was about to face was one of the strongest students from another military school. The student who had been sitting up in the stands and watching the fight between Quinn and his friend was known as Nate Snell. He was a second year from another academy, and in his academy, he was well known for being one of the strongest second years. After asking Quinn for a battle, he was overjoyed that he accepted. For the two of them to start their match, they needed to add each other to their friends list first. "Hard Steely has sent you a friend request." Quinn accepted the friend request and was happy to fight. "Blood Evolver has accepted your friend request." Blood Evolver? Does his ability have something to do with blood? That would explain those red lines coming out from his hands, but was there such an ability in the system? Nate thought. There were thousands of different abilities in the system, so Nate wasn't sure of all of them, but he had fought many battles in the game, and this was the first time seeing someone with this type of ability. Before the match was about to begin, Nate had asked if he could speak to his friend Sam for a few moments. Quinn agreed as he wanted to check a few things out himself. "You are such a fool," Nate said. "I know, I'm sorry," Sam replied. Nate looked at the flapping cape that Sam was wearing and started to shake his head. "We just got this incredible thing and you didn't even use it properly in the fight. When he went out from your view, if you had turned around your back, it would have been protected, or you could have turtled up with the cape." "It's hard to get used to having something on your back. If someone vanishes in front of you and you know they're behind you, you naturally turn around, wouldn't you?" Sam replied. Sam then started to look at the ground as he was saddened, remembering how he had lost the match. "My win streak," Sam cried. Nate proceeded to pat Sam on the shoulder with pity before walking to his fighting spot. "You know the deal. If I win against him, then that means I win our bet, and you'll owe me those credits." As Sam headed back to the arena stands, he was praying for Quinn to kick his friend's ass. He had lost too many bets recently and was running low on credits. 3, 2, 1, and the match had begun. Surprisingly, both of them at the same time had decided to charge in, and as soon as Quinn was within 5 meters, he threw out 2 blood swipes. Suddenly, Nat's speed dropped dramatically, his skin started to turn into a shiny material, and his footsteps were heavy. As the blood swipes reached and hit his body, the sound of metal clanging against each other was heard. For the first time when Quinn's attack had hit an opponent's body, it had done 0 damage whatsoever. The metal shine from Nate's body seemed to shift and now was concentrated in his arm. It allowed Nate to move a lot faster and close the distance. He pushed his hand forward, and out came a long metal silver pole. It was too fast for Quinn to react, and the pole dug into his stomach and continued to push him back. Quinn then grabbed onto the pole with both hands, and using all his strength, managed to stop its momentum. "Wow, looks like you're strong as well," Nate said, surprised. Not only did his opponent have a ranged attack, but seemed to have super strength now as well. Quinn was in front of him, ready to strike, but Nate remained calm and shifted the metal over his body to the exact spot where Quinn was aiming for his head. The punch landed, but Nate's head didn't even move a single inch, and again the game had recorded no such damage. Nate then grabbed Quinn's fist and with his other hand formed the pole, whacking him to the ground. "Come on, you should be better than this," Nate said. It had been a while since Quinn felt like this, weak. "Come on," Nate said as he shifted the metal pole back into his body and into one of his fists. Quinn once again charged forward and threw out a blood swipe. Nate blocked the attack, easily lifting his arm and knocking it away, but it was only meant to serve as a distraction in the first place. When Quinn got close enough, Nate threw out his fist, and at the same time, he responded with flash step, avoiding the strike and appearing behind Nate. Quinn then lifted his foot off the ground, let the energy go through from his toes up to his fist. As he stomped down with one foot, he pulled back one hand and let out another fist. Nate's eyes grew in shock as he saw the attack bring his health down by nearly half. Damn it, again, how is he so fast? As Nate turned to look at where his opponent was, he was surprised to see Quinn collapsed on the ground. Quinn was breathing heavily. He could no longer move. He had pushed his body way beyond its limits. "Let's do this again sometime," Nate said as he stabbed Quinn on the ground, ending the game. Although the match had ended in Nate's victory, he was more excited than ever. "Looks like the military tournament is going to be a fun one this year." With that in mind, Quinn had set up an important meeting with Layla today. There was one thing he needed to learn about more than anything, especially if he wanted to get stronger in the future. It was a Sunday, so Quinn still had the rest of the day off, before having to go back to the standard military lessons for a week. The sun was out bright and early, and Quinn was standing outside the school gates, patiently waiting for Layla. "This damn sun," Quinn said while his body was covered in sweat. "All current stats have been halved." Ever since he had evolved from a human into a halfling, the sun seemed to bother him even more. Finally, after waiting a while, Layla arrived. She was wearing a beautiful red dress that showed off her long legs nicely, along with her short hair. "You ready?" Layla asked, smiling. Quinn looked at the large bag on her back. It must have been heavy, he thought. "Do you want me to carry that for you?" Quinn asked. Although with his stats halved and his strength draining from his body, he was hoping she would say no. "It's okay, the bag is lighter than you think. I'm using my ability to make it lighter," Layla replied. The two of them walked out of the school's premise and carried on walking until they eventually reached a nice quiet park. "Peaceful, isn't it?" Layla said. "Yeah, it's kind of nice." Layla placed the heavy bag on the ground, and it seemed like it was a weight off her shoulders. Even if she was using her ability, it would be tiring for someone to keep it up on the whole walk here. That's when Layla started to empty out all the contents in her bag. There were all sorts of things inside. There were several items of thick clothing such as hats, scarves, sunglasses, and most of it seemed to be black in color. "Did it cost a lot?" Quinn asked, worried after seeing how much she had bought. "Don't worry about it. My family sent me the credits and I used up what the Academy gave me," Layla replied. "Besides, I got it all from the marketplace, so it was dirt cheap." The marketplace was an online store that was used all around the world. It sold your everyday items such as food, clothes, utilities, and other things. "So, what do you want to try first?" Layla said, holding the sun cream in her hand. The whole purpose of today was to find out if there was any way to either reduce the effect that the sun had on the system, or even temporarily stop it altogether, and there was no one better than Layla for the job. She knew everything about vampires, having grown up reading about them. She ordered whatever she thought might have been effective. Quinn looked at all the items that she had brought over. He then noticed a few more things on the ground with her. There was a metal-shaped cross, a clove of garlic, and even a piece of silver jewelry. "Oh, those are for later," Layla said, embarrassed, noticing Quinn staring at her stuff. "We should also try to find out if you have any other weaknesses of normal vampires as well." "All right, why don't we just try the umbrella first?" Quinn said as he knelt down to pick it up. He then stood still and popped open the umbrella. It was solid black in color to make sure that most of the light didn't penetrate or get through it. Quinn then adjusted the umbrella a few times to make sure his body was completely covered in the shadow. Then, to his surprise, stats had returned to normal. While Quinn was fully covered under the shade, his stats had returned. Then he lifted his hand and placed it outside the shade zone ever so slightly, and as soon as the tiniest part of his finger was outside, the same usual status screen had appeared. "You are being affected by direct sunlight. All stats will be halved." "Well?" Layla asked. "It works, but even if a little bit of my body is in the sun, then I start to feel weak." This wouldn't do. Holding the umbrella, although it would return his stats, it would be difficult to use in a fight. But at last he found out that if he just carried an umbrella with him, he would no longer feel weak. "That's a special umbrella," Layla said. "It's one used to block out the UV from the sun. Although at most it can block out about 90%, it's not perfect. To be honest, I'm surprised it worked." "Is the UV rays why I feel weak then?" "Not necessarily. I mean, vampire lore is all over the place, but these myths had to be grounded somewhere, right?" Layla then looked at the ground and picked up the sun cream. If the umbrella really worked because of the UV, then some sun cream should have some effect. Layla then walked up to Quinn, squirting some of the cream onto her hand. "You ready?" Quinn then went a little red, thinking about Layla applying the cream onto his body. Looking at Layla now out of her school uniform, he realized that she was kind of cute. After making sure everywhere she could see covered in cream, to finish it off, she placed sunglasses over Quinn's eyes. "Although we can stop the UV on your eyelids, we can't on your eyeballs," Layla said. "Well, anything?" This time there was no such result. When opening up his status, the UV cream hadn't even made a little bit of impact. Quinn still felt incredibly weak, and his stats were still halved. "So it looks like it's not to do with the UV then. Although the umbrella worked, it can only block so much of the UV, and same with the cream. So I was hoping it would have some effect, but this means it's most likely some other property in the sun that we don't know about." Finally, it was time for the last test. This one Quinn was dreading the most, the clothes test. He was already sweating and feeling hot as it was, and couldn't imagine putting on a load of black clothing. First, Quinn placed a sweater over the top of his body, then a pair of black thick trousers on his feet. Instead of trainers, he changed to black boots. Then on his hand, a pair of leather black gloves. Finally, on his head, he had a large back top hat. Looking at him, Layla could barely hold in her laughter. He looked absolutely ridiculous. Breathe, Layla, she mumbled. Well, anything? No, not yet anyway. Well, we might as well try the rest. Layla then continued to place clothes onto Quinn. This time she had covered his face with a balaclava, and even where his eyes were, she had put a sleeping mask on. More hats were placed on, and now every inch of his skin was covered. Anything? No, Quinn shouted, but it sounded muffled through the clothes. Wait, it's working, Quinn said. Although the clothes had worked, Quinn was around 3 inches thick in black clothing. Well, you can't go out like that, Layla said. You couldn't move in that thing. Agreed, but at least we know that the most important thing is to stop the sun hitting me. Suddenly, a thought had entered Quinn's mind. When he had gone against Sam, he had used a cape that was able to block his blood swipe. The material was not only flexible, but strong as well. The cape was most likely made from some type of beast, from one of the portals. If Quinn couldn't get enough of this material, maybe he could make a suit of some kind that could not only protect him from the sun, but also be strong enough to be used in combat. A smile started to appear on his face. He now couldn't wait to be transported to hunt some beasts. Layla was eager to try out a few of the other things she had brought along with her. Do I really have to worry about something like this? Quinn said as he picked up a clove of garlic. Inspect. A clove of garlic. Due to your heightened senses, the piece may taste extremely bad. Safe to consume. Quinn had actually expected this result before even using his inspect skill. The taste of food had slightly changed ever since his evolution. The only thing that still tasted fine for him was meat. Before touching any of the other items, Quinn made sure to use his inspect skill on each one. First was the metal cross. A religious symbol that has no effect. Then the chain. A silver chain that is made up of 92% silver. Wearing the item can be used as a fashion accessory. Quinn asked, I kind of get the cross, but what about the silver? And they're just for werewolves? Suddenly, Layla's eyes started to sparkle up. The first vampire was said to be cursed by the god Apollo, to be burnt by sunlight. Then, when the man tried to touch Artemis' bow, she cursed the human further to be affected by silver. Layla explained. Then, with the cross, vampires have always been seen as workers of the devil, a creature that needed to suck blood to live, and of course God, in the eyes of many, is a fighter of evil, and the cross is a symbol of the god. The only vampire weakness it seems you have so far is sunlight, although I have to admit that's a pretty big one. Do you feel like you're not getting older yet? What? Quinn said, confused. How would I even know? It's only been a few days. Then a dreaded thought had entered Quinn's mind. If it was true that he would no longer age, did that mean his appearance would stay the same as it did now? Would he look like a young teenage boy for the rest of his life? With the test over, it was time for the two of them to head back to their dorm rooms. But when he entered the room, once again neither Vorden or Peter was there. He couldn't help but shake the feeling that these new friends of Peter weren't actually friends of his, and was wondering what to do. On Monday morning, they were to attend a morning class with their teacher, Dell. The three of them sat in the back of the class as usual, while Layla sat at the front, with Aaron by her side. All right, class, I have an important announcement to make. The preparations for your first portal outing have been completed. It's time for you kids to go explore the universe a bit more. They were often used to travel to other planets. The technology was obtained when humanity managed to take down their first Dalkee ship and discovered a portal inside. In today's world, there were generally 3 different groups of people who had and owned portals. The military was the first group. Next were private corporations. They usually had powerful originals backing them. Many of these companies would also form a faction, a group of powerful travelers, just for exploring other planets. And lastly was the group known as Pure, a group that didn't believe in the use of abilities. There were 3 types of portals, each different in color. There was green, orange, and red. Green meant that the planet it led to had already been explored, and there were human shelters that had been built. The next was orange. This meant that the planet hadn't been fully explored yet. There were some shelters in place, but the level of the beasts could be too high in certain areas, or they just hadn't explored everywhere yet. And finally, the red portals. These were unexplored planets. There were no shelters for regular humans to live in. Only travelers or military personnel would usually go into these portals for exploration, and the worst thing about them was they didn't know if the Dalkee were on the planet as well. A student then raised his hand while seated in the center of the class. "What about the beasts that were discovered on those planets? Will we learn about them?" "For now, that's all you need to know about the portals. Yes, this also led us to discover beasts on these planets, and they are what we use to create our beast weapons. But you will be told more detail about that when you arrive," Del explained. "Now for the important part. The portal expedition will take place next week, but before even that, you will be required to form your own team of 5. The same student once again raised his hand, and Del had a look on his face like it was starting to get annoying. "Do you know where we will be going?" "That information will be revealed to you on the day. Many of you here have family members who, if they knew where you were, would send guards out to protect you on these planets, but that wouldn't be fair, especially since we will also be assessing you on this. Now, if there aren't any more questions, your combat classes for today are canceled. Today you are to form a team of 5 and report back to us by the end of the day." Vorden then turned his head immediately. "Hey, Quinn, you want to be on the—" But standing by Quinn's side already was Layla, who had sprinted from the front of the class to the back. "Hey, do you want to make a team with me, Quinn?" Layla said, smiling. Sure," Quinn answered. Truthfully, Quinn wanted to ask Layla to be on the same team. They didn't know how long their first assessment was going to take, and if he was to get hurt or injured, he was going to need a blood source of some type. Even if Vorden didn't like it, he knew this was going to happen. "Hey, Quinn, do you mind if I join as well?" he said, smiling, trying to hide his annoyance. "Of course, and Peter as well." Peter's face was a little shocked at hearing the sound of his name, and at the same time his feelings were confused. "Yeah, that would be good," Peter said. Then, when the others were just thinking about who the 5th member should be, Aaron had approached Vorden, of all people in the room. "I want to make a team with you." Not only were Quinn and the others shocked that Aaron had approached Vorden, but so was the whole class. "I'm sorry," Vorden said, "but I've already decided to make a team with these guys." Vorden's response to Aaron seemed to be even crazier to everyone else as well. Aaron then looked at the group of people who Vorden pointed at. "Who are they?" Aaron said. "What? We took the test together. I even helped you out at the assembly hall," Layla complained. "Why would you stay with these weak people? Surely you can get a better grade if you join me and a few others," Aaron said. "I don't care about the grades. I just want to have fun while I'm still in school," Vorden replied. "Fine, I can accept the girl and the strangely strong boy, but I can't accept him," Aaron said, pointing at Peter. Peter's heart suddenly started to thump louder. If he didn't get in Vorden's and Quinn's team, he would be in huge trouble. "Why do we need you anyway?" Vorden said. "Wait a minute," Layla interrupted. "I think she would make a good addition to the team. Besides, Vorden, doesn't your ability rely on those around you to be strong as well?" "Layla, I understand what you're saying, but for once I agree with Vorden," Quinn replied. "I don't care how strong she is. She can't just come in and kick one of us out. She can join the team, but only if Peter stays." "Fine, I will join, but I wish for the 5 of us to have a retesting to see where we stand," Aaron asked. "Perhaps we can go visit the training center, display what we can do to the rest." "Well, what do you want us to do?" Vorden asked. "I've already seen your powers, but I can't remember too much about the girl and the other 2. Perhaps the girl can go first on the strength machine." "Damn it, same as last time. Looks like I haven't improved much," Layla complained. "For a level 2, that's a quite weak strength score, but judging by the bow, you're a ranged user anyway. It will be quite handy to have someone like you on the team," Aaron said. "Well, I'm hoping that both of you can at least get the same score as her." "Looks like he's still level 1 then," Aaron said. As Peter went to punch the machine, the earth around from the pole started to form around his fist. "Well, what are you waiting for?" Aaron said, looking at Quinn. As Quinn walked up to the strength machine, all he wanted to do was punch the machine as hard as he could. He wanted to shut up the arrogant Aaron, who felt like she was better than everyone else. But Quinn couldn't reveal himself here, especially in front of the others. He readied his fist and redid his footwork. The gauntlets were equipped on his hands, and Quinn let his fist out. Bang! "Hey man, didn't you get stronger?" Vorden said, surprised. "I thought you got a 5 on the test last time. You been working out or something?" "Actually, it was thanks to that game you showed me," Quinn replied. "I met someone who really helped and showed me how to activate the beast weapon strength properly. I worked hard hoping I wouldn't be useless for you guys." This was a lie, but Quinn felt like it was quite convincing. Didn't the second year say you needed to treat it like activating your ability, though? I thought you didn't have one. Apparently that isn't a requirement, but just to help you visualize activating your beast weapons, Quinn replied back. Well, a score of 10 isn't that impressive. The only reason we are talking about it is because you're level 1, Aaron said. Is this okay then? Layla asked. Yes, Aaron replied. I still wish to join your team. I believe even with the extra luggage we have on board, with me and Vorden, we can come out as the top team during this assessment. Well, if combat classes have been cancelled for the day, is there anything you wanted to do? Vorden asked. Actually, I was planning to head to the VR capsules, Quinn replied. You can go ahead, Vorden said. I know I showed you how to play the other day, but to be honest, I'm sick and tired of that game. With Quinn heading off to the VR room, that left Peter and Vorden all on their own. Hey, so do you want to practice a bit more with your ability? I know you're saving up so you can buy a few more skill books. Maybe we can get you to a level 2 before heading off into the portal. Sure, that sounds like a good idea, Peter replied. But Peter's strange actions didn't go unnoticed, and Vorden had a feeling it had something to do with those students he went to hang around with a few days ago. Quinn had finally arrived at the VR center. He decided while inside the capsule, he would split his session into 2 halves. For the first 30 minutes, he would spend it facing against level 1s. Then, for the second half of the session, he would use it searching for quick matches, battling against opponents of all different strengths. Quinn entered the game and started his first match with his plan. That's when Nate noticed that the ID Blood Evolver was online. Nate then was suddenly transported into the arena, and all that he witnessed was Quinn defeating weak level 1s in a matter of minutes. Let the grinding begin, Quinn said as he took down his next opponent. 170 of 800 EXP. Nate continued to observe Quinn and his fighting style, and wondered just why he didn't fight the same as when he fought against him. Finally, 30 minutes had passed. That's when Quinn noticed that he had a spectator. Nate, who was sitting in the seats, gave a wave back. Oh, it's him. I wonder what he's doing here. Then a thought came to Quinn's mind. He then went on to the game system and sent out a party invite to Nate. Nate was too curious and wanted to know what Quinn wanted and decided to accept. Hey, how are you doing? I hope you're not planning some type of revenge, are you? Nate said as he proceeded cautiously towards Quinn. No, actually, I wanted to ask you something. The person who I fought with before, your friend, I wanted to know more about his cape and where he had received it from. Oh, Sam's cape. That's why you wanted to talk to me. Nate then looked at Quinn standing in front of him. In his hands, he wore his gauntlets. Wait a minute, are you a first year? Nate said. Yeah. I will be going on my first portal outing. I thought if you could tell me what type of beast you got it from, I would be able to look for it. Nate was suddenly a little surprised. He thought about how Quinn was able to damage his solid body, even though no one had done such a feat before. He was sure the person would have been at least a second year. Let me give you a piece of advice then. On your first outing, they always use the green portals. You have the chance of going to one of 3 places, Cality, Alpen, and Bartney. Out of these 3 planets, you want to go to Cality. There in the desert, there's a winged creature. I can't remember the name, but there aren't many in the desert, so I'm sure if you see one, that will be it. That beast core is what we made the cape out of. Wait, did you say a desert? Quinn asked. Yeah, what's wrong with that? Don't worry. Thank you so much for the information. You've been a big help. I'm going to play a few more games now before my time is up. Oh, sure, go ahead. Do you mind if I watch? Nate asked. Quinn thought about it for a while. He was just fighting people. It wasn't like he was doing anything that suggested he was a vampire. Sure, go ahead. Quinn only had 20 minutes left inside the machine. His first match, he was against a level 4 user who had a transformation ability. His body was made of a rubber-like material, and he was able to stretch it as far as he liked. Quinn struggled against this opponent. The fighting style of the rubber man was strange, and when Quinn wasn't expecting it, he would be hit at an incredible speed. In the end, Quinn managed to get a few blood swipes in and hurt the man, but still ended up losing. Quinn's time in the game was up, and he had to leave. Nate, after watching Quinn for the whole time, had a strange thought lingering on his mind. Just what was Quinn's ability? After their battle, Nate had decided to check out the ability list to see if there was anything similar, and he could find no such thing. What Quinn didn't realize, though, was that all the opponents he had faced that day were thinking the same thing as Nate. They were wondering just what ability Quinn had. The user Quinn had just fought was so frustrated he decided to go onto the online forums and make a post. he shared a video of the match between himself and Quinn titled, "What ability is this? Is he a hacker?" The online forum had started to post comments just below about the video. "Yeah, I fought against him too, and he used those red lines on me. I lost in an instant. Is there really an ability like that in the game? It looks like wind slash, but why are the lines red?" The video started to ping the creators. One of the admin staff for the game came along and checked the video, but this person wasn't any ordinary admin. Logan Green was the son of the creator of the game and was one of the head coders. He often visited the forum to check for bugs while still attending school. Logan immediately could tell that the video was real. He searched up the two user IDs and then decided to look at the match information. After searching them up, he noticed that the player in the video had selected no ability. No, it couldn't be. Did he really manage to hack the system? Logan then began to dig in deep into the match and checked everything about it. He checked the log of the game and everything that had been written down as the match went on, but there wasn't a single thing he could find that was wrong. The next day, combat classes had resumed back to normal. Layla the other day had gone to register the team with Dell. The group became the talk of the class. After all, they were the only ones with such a huge difference in power levels between the team, something that hadn't happened in the school before. Inside the second year's office, a group of first years had been called into the General Duke's office. Standing at the front of the first years was Earl, the same boy who had recently been hanging around with Peter, as well as the one who had broken his fingers. "I've made sure that the room will be empty for you tomorrow. Make sure you do as I asked. I need you to get rid of them," Duke said. "Yes, sir, we promise." "Good," Duke replied as he threw over a couple of beast crystals as well as a skill book. "You should be able to progress to level 4 with that skill. Carry on working hard and there will be more." The next day after combat classes had ended, Peter had messaged for Vorden and Quinn to come to the training room on the east side. This room was usually off-limits to students, since it was also used as a room to store portals. "Did you get Peter's message?" Quinn asked. "Yeah, that's why I'm here. I knew those friends of his were bad news," Vorden said. "Quinn, you stay behind. I can deal with this myself." "No way. He's my friend, too. I'm going to kick those guys' zombies if it's the last thing I do." The room was large, and there were several large metallic objects with an oval shape in the middle. Each one of them had a glowing circle in the middle, shining with a different color. These were the portals that took them to another world. When they had entered the room, they could see that Peter was lying on the ground, badly hurt. Quinn and Vorden looked around the room, but were unable to notice anyone. They both then rushed over to his side. "What happened to you? Was it those first-year students?" Vorden shouted. "Yeah, they got me pretty bad. They went out for just a moment. I don't think they're going to come back." "All right, let us pick you up," Vorden said, as he lifted Peter's hand over his shoulder. As the two of them picked up Peter, Quinn had a strange feeling. "Inspect. Peter Chuck, HP 8 of 8. Vorden, let go of him. It's a trap," Quinn shouted. But before Vorden could even realize what was happening, Peter had broken free and immediately pushed Quinn as hard as he could. He had entered the portal. "What have you done?" Vorden shouted. The color of the portal was red.
Hi, Quinn here. Wondering what happens next? If you want to jump the queue and unleash all episodes, click on the link here and install the Pocket FM app.